The Olympus 12 to 40mm f2. For real though, this is such a good lens. I can recommend it to everyone who's looking for a versatile lens for their micro four thirds camera. The reason I'm making this video is because I'm actually selling my GH5 and all my micro four thirds lenses, and this lens literally just sold on eBay, and I put it up there for like a great price, and someone got it and they are lucky. But the thing is, I feel like a lot of people underestimate this lens or kind of forget about this lens. A lot of people, when they get a GH5 or any micro four thirds camera, micro four thirds camera to, you know, make videos or whatever, they always think about using a speed booster and an EF lens. Now, firstly, the reason that is not always the best idea is that if that speed booster ever fails, if you're on a shoot, you're shooting a wedding or you're shooting a really important event and that speed booster fails, all you're going to be doing is sitting in a corner crying about how you can't film and do your job. It's always worth having some native lenses, and that's what I realized last year, I think. My Canon lens broke, and at the time I had no other wide angle for my GH5. And I just thought, well, what can I do? And that's why I actually bought this lens, because I saw some reviews and other people were saying how good it was. And I thought, it's just a lens. I'm sure it's good, but how good, you know? And it came and I was blown away. Before we get into this review, I just want to say that this is not going to be a super in-depth review with graphs and diagrams and all that kind of stuff. If you want a video like that where they're looking at how distorted the lens gets or vignetting and things like that, this is not the review. This video is more just about my opinion and also showing you some sample images, because I find when I want to buy a lens, like, yeah, sure, I can look at how much it warps or the vignetting, but that's stuff I can just fix in Lightroom if I really have to. I want to see how the lens looks, the colors, the sharpness, you know, like how it actually performs. So it's a 24 to 80 equivalent if you were to put this on a full frame, although not if you were to put this on a full frame, but if it was a full frame lens. So you get a decent focal range there, not super great, but good enough for most situations. It's an f2.8. It's not going to be the best in low light, and if it's on a GH5, it's not going to be good in low light anyway. And you can see right now that I'm filming on it and the background isn't that blurred. It's on f2.8 now. The one thing I would say is that I did actually do a take of this before this video, and I had it in autofocus, and all I could see on my monitor was the focus going like this. Now this lens has great autofocus, so it's not the lens, it's the GH5, okay? You take this lens out and you use photo mode on GH5, it will snap on everything you want. You touch the screen, focused, touch the screen, focused every time. It's amazing. So let's just talk about a few things the lens has, which is, you know, good. It's got a manual clutch, so you can shift it from autofocus to manual focus with the little lens thing. In fact, I've got this handy little Olympus 17mm here that has the same thing. So you can see that you just go from manual focus into autofocus or whatever it is you want to be in. The only problem is it makes this clicky noise. That lens does the same thing. So if you're planning to use this for filmmaking or for your videos or whatever it is, just be aware that that's going to be a thing. But the great thing about it is that a lot of lenses, at least I know from Lumix and Leica and whatever other brands, they always have this focus by wire nonsense. I hate it. It's just the worst. Like, I like knowing that you focus one end to the other and that's it. Little shift, background, shift, foreground. Not shift, foreground, and then shift again. And it's this I bought particularly for filmmaking, for making videos, because you can just go to manual focus and it just works. It's just so smooth and it's so easy to shift in and out of that manual and autofocus mode. Brilliant. It's weather sealed. There's 9 different seal bits on the lens. I don't know where. I mean, I guess inside somewhere as well. 9 different seals. It's super weather sealed down to -9 or -10. I told you I wouldn't be that good with the facts. There's also a little function button on the lens, which personally I never use, but this can be programmed to pretty much whatever you like. I think at the default, it's a button you press when you want the autofocus to like stop focusing. So if you want it to sort of stop hunting or something comes into shot and you want to quickly grab that, you can press the button and you can do that. Now it's quite a light lens, but I wouldn't say it's that light, especially not on the GH5. The GH5 is quite a big camera. I never really realized. So I just got the A7 III and I was doing a video about that. coming up, so if you want to see that, subscribe. The camera's big and this lens is pretty big. It's 392 grams. So if you're coming from the 14 to 42, which is like the lightest lens I've ever had, I mean, it's probably like this, maybe even a bit lighter than this, because this is more like metally construction, this Olympus 17mm. So if you're coming from that, the kit lens, and you want to get something a bit better, a bit beefier, this lens will be good and it'll be better. Now, enough of me waffling on about all the different specs. You've probably read it 100 times before you've come to this video. Let's take a look at some of my sample images. As I said, I'm not going to be doing all this barrel distortion, vignetting nonsense. Just look at them and you can see what you think. So as you can see, you know, this lens is super versatile. You can use it for macro, you can use it for landscapes, you can use it for, I don't know, anything you want to use it for. I just realized that my review notes, they're all good things. Other than the weight, like if you've got it on a heavy camera like the GH5, it is a bit heavy to lug around. You know, you compare it to my Sony A7 III here, and this has got a 55mm Zeiss lens on it. This is light and small. The GH5 is quite a big bulky camera, and that lens is heavier, way heavier than this 55mm. Oh yeah, okay. I have got one other thing which kind of sucks. The lens hood. What is that? Look, that's not going to be blocking any sun whatsoever. The only thing I'd say that would be good for is blocking bashes, like if you're going to drop it. It might protect the lens a little bit. I mean, you compare that sun hood, if you can call it that, to this sun hood on the Sony. Big difference. So if you're on the fence about buying the 12 to 40 f2.8, don't be. Get off the fence and go and buy it, because it is such a good lens, you will not regret it. If you buy it and you think it's great, come back to this video, comment down below. Let everyone else know that you think it's a great lens as well, because everyone should own this lens if they have a micro four thirds camera. And that's kind of the final statement for this video. Everyone should own this lens if they have a micro four thirds. Why can't I say it again? Everyone should own this lens if they have a micro four thirds camera. That's it, guys. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and subscribe and all that YouTube stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.